know what my like sort of bucket list toy design would be is a GI Joe line of the Division. Like, oh my god. Like I would
So
play with the hell out of those.
yeah, so that's one thing that's kind of cool. If GI Joe recently relaunched with a 6 inch or 1/6 scale. I'm sorry, 1/12 scale line,
Mm,
and in it, the first few waves of figures, they had what people would call a Joe Pro on the shoulder, but essentially it was just that Division watch. It was just that same idea of like it's got this one piece that is their main communication tool, and they
yeah.
ran it like across the line of figures. So it's like Snake Eyes, Duke, Roadblock, and not Lady J, Scarlet had it, and it was
Mm.
really cool, and I liked it. But a lot of the other design aspects were kind of from another video game, and it was
Oh,
kind of up to date. So people complain like, "Oh, they're so Fortnite because they've got like gold armor,"
yeah.
and which doesn't make any sense. But I
No.
mean, it's GI Joe, doesn't make a lot of sense. Period. So
No.
my like,
No. Yeah.
um, but as they've gone on further, they've dropped it a little bit. They still have it on some figures, but I'm like, that's one thing. I'm like, no, one consolidated piece of equipment that keeps them all tied together, like the Division,
Mhm.
which I dig. I mean, we played a lot of Division, or a good amount, and
Yeah.
then but back when it first came out, was really impressed, and I enjoyed the idea that they did world building with. They put out like what 5 or 6 like little short films, like
Yeah. Yeah.
vignettes, if you will,
Yep.
of like, oh, this is a babysitter who runs to the Division when trouble's there,
Yep. Yep.
and like that was a cool way to like making the team the people feel like, oh, they were all part of a larger entity, but also just individuals you might see on the street. Like, so yeah,
Yeah.
that was
No. Uh.
cool
So
game.
tangentially, sorry,
Oh,
not to steal that from somewhere else, but
speaking of,
well, because like I remember those shorts. So they were actually a bunch of them were actually done by Corridor Digital, which is like one of the
Mhm.
local special effects houses out here. That like I remember they did a lot of like really cool, innovative stuff for that. But yeah, those vignettes made. I mean, like I joke with Cujo that I'm like, yeah, I'm such a Division stan, but like I have no one to play it with. And so I'm usually just like wandering around the dark zone by myself like a
it,
weirdo.
it's I feel like there's definitely times where I can play a game for a certain amount of time and then I kind of fall out of it if it doesn't have enough story to keep me going.
Hmm.
And I felt like I got that way with Division 1, and like when Division 2 came out, we got back into it like it was a group of friends, but then it's just like it didn't the storyline didn't like jump me back in. I was like, "Oh yeah, like let's go defend the White House," or that is like in rubble. The vibes weren't there, so
Oh,
it didn't keep driving me as much.
my vibes were always the multiplayer. That was the thing. Is like
Yeah.
I always needed a teammate to be running with, and it's like I know we joke about Jason being like tactical, but I kind of like that. I kind of like the sort of aspect of it. It takes me out of it when a teammate literally runs in with two shotguns and is like, fuck this shit, and just starts shooting everything. I'm like, all right, man, I get you. It is a mechanic, but at the same time, like, we have cover. Like, could you just like not face tank the deagle and just like, pretend? Because that's what we're doing. That's all video games are. It's
Yeah,
it's
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 a whole lot of
pretend.
pretend.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's fair.
So
I mean, it's funny too because the other side of it is that I with JPG I know that they play a lot of Gears of War, or they did back in the day, back when Gears of War was the thing to play. Not essentially that not through 1 through 3, not so much 4 and 5.
mhm.
Um, and like you'd think like, oh no, they're all about the tactical. And when we played it for Division 1, that was more the case. It was like, oh, let me set down my turret. I'll sit right here, and it's a med turret, so it also heals. And
Mhm.
then like there was far more of a tactical feel, whereas this division of the division, this squad, if you will,
Yeah.
was far more just like run and gun. Let's get some shit done, blow
Yeah.
stuff up. Oh wow, cool. I just noticed my little avatar will like kind of hop up and pop up
Yeah.
with emphasis. Okay, on occasion, I'm like, I didn't anticipate that, but okay.
Yeah, that's a funky little thing that if you come off of mute or if you start talking, it pop like try saying something.
Nope. I get it. Okay, yeah. So when I start up.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting to see this side of the setup of like there's the like little functionality that I have and that you as a premium user of like, oh no, I know all the ins and outs. I've you got this. Your idle animation has little you right there. You can kind of sit back and like bask in the glow of your own glory, and I can't do that. I can't sit back and bask. I
Well,
need that premium content.
well, so the funny thing is the VideoTube thing. That's like a free sort of like PNG tuber plugin that someone made. That literally, it's like I think they made it in Unity, and it just kind of runs alongside and just detects your mic, and then it has a built-in green screen. So then you have to like do the work of putting it into OBS and then like making all of your like various animations. But like once you do it, it's cool because it makes it feel a little bit more expressive, but it doesn't have that same PNG tuber vibe that I've found on so many Twitch channels where they're like floating and it doesn't feel, it literally feels like a talking picture, whereas this almost feels like a Saturday morning cartoon. Like
Yeah.
there's enough variation that I can be like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Well, it feels like animation versus just a rig, which
Yeah.
I don't I and I think of like my thing is my in is like I feel like I'm on a Domix video from
Yeah.
YouTube. If you know
Exactly.
Domix, then those who would like or Domix or like I mean there's other YouTubers too. Like I'm suddenly thinking of one that does a lot of Pokemon stuff,
Jaden.
but maybe my
Yeah.
brain's half here.
Uh, s-
Um,
I I think it might be Jaden. Yeah, Domix isn't as
Yes,
active
Jaden.
anymore.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, yeah. Domix has like dropped off after like a passport video,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I think he had like a goodbye thing too. Like, oh, I've been really busy with stuff. I'm like, that's fair, good on you. But I'm just like, I'm sad. But it's also I know how much work goes into every one of those videos
Yeah.
that has to have a team behind it and everything.
Yeah. And well, I mean, that's the whole thing is like, people are like, yeah, I can guest on your show. I'm like, you do realize how long it takes me to draw your avatar, right? Like, I have to like make you a persona to like exist on my channel. Like, I'm not just gonna throw you on a web. I mean, I could, right? I legitimately could just like
Yeah,
throw you on the back screen, but at the same time, like that's the brand is kind of Saturday morning cartoon, and so I'm like, okay,
yeah.
everyone has to have their own thing. So now I have 20 plus characters I've designed that I'm just like, okay,
To
here.
be to be full cartoon though, you've got to have at least like you got to change it up. You got to have someone who's like a T-Rex, but like a blue T-Rex, so that they are fully a cartoon character. And like Detective Dinosaur, who's a detective, or you have Dinosaur Detective, who's a detective who hunts down dinosaurs. Like you could do both off
That
either end.
that's fair. And I was playing with the idea of doing those kinds of shorts too, and then like work got busy, and then I just kind of, this is why it's like I'm trying to get the podcast back up, because then I can at least work on it, right, and actually like make a
Yeah.
show. I don't know who would play Detective Dinosaur or Dinosaur Detective either. We should probably
Yeah.
figure out.
I mean, you just got to find you either sign those roles to someone
Mhm.
and be like, this is now who you are,
You
and
are,
just find someone who,
yeah,
yeah,
you are Dinosaur
you're
Detective.
you're no longer Daniel, you are Dinosaur Detective. You are no longer Jenny from the block. Now you're Detective Dinosaur.
Oh my god. I mean, I would watch that. Like
I
legitimately.
mean, it's
Like, I would watch this show. I would watch like a couple of kids that are up in a treehouse running a podcast about stupid shit, and then they have these fantastical things happening behind them that like they're not paying attention to. Instead, they're talking about toys. Like
I mean,
that.
it's yeah. And you could just put like what you call it. So we've got a window in this setup here, but
Mhm.
in that window you could just have a dinosaur detective walk by because we're like two stories up and it's
Yeah.
a T-Rex, so they just kind of walk by, maybe peer in periodically.
Yeah.
Like but that's the joy of living in a cartoon.
Yep.
Um
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
It's just a
So
matter of like, it's weird too because this is where my ADHD plays against me in that I love this style, but I also love this style, and I also love this style, and I also love this style, and I'm like, I want to be all of the artists at the same time, and so it's just it's funny because I started posting to Instagram again recently, and like I'm putting up my illustration art as opposed to like my character art, and like it is not hitting, which is fine. It's Instagram, it's never gonna hit, but at the same time, like it's weird because in my bio I'm a pixel artist. I'm like, I am a pixel artist, but I'm also a painter and an illustrator and a landscape designer. Oh crap. Like, and I know with Instagram it's like you need to just pick a lane and just do it. And I'm like, that sucks. That's not how artists work. Like,
yeah, that's kind of not where like my mindset. Like I am full of channel drift. Like that's me in
Yeah.
personified of just like, oh no, my hyper focus will change from one month to next.
Hmm.
My friend put it as like, oh, this is the season of Lego Star Wars, and so my brain's like, oh, I want to build this X-wing fighter this month, and I'm all about it. I'm like, oh, but if I got this X-wing fighter with this, and I can put it with this Tie fighter, and then
Yeah.
next month, and I'm like, oh, well, the new line of the blockies came out for Transformers, and so I've got to get all the pieces to build that, and like they all kind of come together for
Hmm.
that month. But I
Hmm.
mean, if people were to say head over to Instagram and look at Tau Cape Brigade and look at your art, they could definitely see that and follow because they want to see more of your fantastic art.
Thank you.
Um, one thing I wanted to ask, since you do these the gifts and you build these out, you've
Hmm.
done everything I've seen you do so far has been cool hand drawn stuff. Have you decided to try and do a pixel one, or is that
Okay.
a longer bridge to cross?
So I have considered like converting everyone to just a pixel format because I have a template. I have a rubric for like making these characters, and then like I also have it for pixel. And ironically, pixel doesn't require as much transition because you're literally moving from a block to block, as opposed to here, I'm actually approximating like the words coming out of my mouth. Given it's gibberish, but it is using actual like mouth shaping, so it looks like we're legit. With
Yeah, and
pixel,
eyebrow movements are there too. You do a good job of that, and
yeah.
the blink and like the subtle look side to side depending on the movement. It's there, and it's only a few frames, but it comes across great.
Yeah, and then with pixel art, like I could do it even in more, right? Like I could really take it up a notch. But then like I really genuinely like this aesthetic, and it's so built into my Twitch and like the persona that people know me by. Them like, should I alter it and go completely different? I could have some sort of thing where we we do like a flash transition and it switches us over to the pixel world, and then like we could be completely pixel characters. I'm also
Well,
pretending like
then
yeah.
yeah. Oh, my brain then goes to like, well, then are we just little squares in like the dialogue between scenes in an RPG where like we're just that little square box talking?
Yeah.
Like, thank you for helping our village. I'm without this we would never been saved. And then
Yeah.
they hand you a sword.
That's kind of the other thing is like if we were to do pixel art, like yeah, would it be the talking heads like a la, Fire Emblem and that kind of generation of pixel art, which is like fine, that's also cool, but I also feel like there wasn't a lot of animation to it. So
Yeah, very
it's
true.
like, but at the same time, like I could do weirder shit, right? Like I could actually make us like pixel characters, like in like Final Fantasy, like in how the side battle mode in Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 6, all of the old school ones, and it's just a pixel character. We could literally have them bouncing up and down like we're in fucking South Park, and it would be
Yeah.
hilarious. Like, but at the same time, like, is it enticing? Maybe I should try it.
Yeah.
I
Because
pretend like I have a bunch of followers. I don't. I should just try it and then see what it looks like. Like,
I mean, as of right now on Instagram, they can help push you to 500, and we can start there. So everyone who's listening, go to Instagram, head over to Tau Cape Brigade, and give us a follow, so you can start to see every time a new episode goes up. Um, on a side note, I am because of the position, I am be blinded by the sun.
I was about to
one
say,
at
dude.
home.
Like,
I'm gonna. I'll be right back.
okay, sounds good. Dance break. Boom, 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 boom.
And see, like a fun edit there is where you just like the character slowly ducks off screen and then comes back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so here's like this is what I mean is I actually designed a pixel character rubric for all
Yeah.
of the characters.
and it's a nice match between your style and pixel art.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm like, I could do it. Like I legitimately have the characters already rendered. It's just a matter of like now I'd have to make a background, which again, it doesn't take me very long. It's just keeping the hyper focus in that direction to get it done. But like
Yeah.
I was supposed to finish decorating this background and I did not. So
Well, I mean that's also because it is for as a member of the Tau Cape Brigade, you are far more benevolent than maybe people like I would be. We're like, this is what we're putting here. Everyone has to enjoy what I put up. It's like, oh, I don't like Battle Beast. I don't care. I'm putting a Battle Beast in the corner over there. It's gonna be the one that we love.
it's gonna be right here in front of you. You know what's funny is like I remember specifically having a bear battle beast. So it had like blue armor. I think it was like dark brown or black fur. And I remember thinking, I'm like, why do you look so lame compared to the tiger one that I have over here? Like, I didn't understand that what parts of the design I didn't like as much between the two of them. And shoot, now I'm just like, I wonder where those went. 'Cause,
I think you're thinking of Grizzly Bear is his name,
okay.
and that was who that's who the character was Grizzly Bear, and
I'm
is
gonna
that
look.
copy and paste?
I'm looking
Yeah,
at Battle Beast
look
right
up
now.
Grizzly Bear Battle Beast. I tried to find it, but I couldn't copy and paste.
Excuse me.
Um, Also, just because I was into the Hyperfo switched over,
Yeah.
the one that there's also a YouTuber called Killer Carp, whose icon is a Killer Carp character, and like he's got a shirt, and I'm like, hey man, he leaned into it. Like I'll give him that. Like he's like, no, this is what I love. Like all right, that's gonna. It's like he's like it informed my entire persona. I'm like, good on you. Like
Yeah.
that's
I mean, shoot, dude. If you find the thing that resonates with you that hard, oh yeah, I remember this. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna copy paste these. These are off of eBay. Um,
Gotcha. I just dropped the one. So it's like a brown bear for those at home.
yes.
Actually,
Yeah.
for those at home can look at the screen behind us, right there.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
it's right
yeah.
there.
I was gonna say I'm gonna edit it in. But yeah, I
Yeah.
remember this blue and white one, this like ice blue and white one. I was like, what the hell is that? Like,
I think
what?
that one's like a horse or a unicorn. Well, not a unicorn because it have
Was
a
it like-
horn. But yeah, it's like it's. I mean, there's and the cool thing is that there are somewhere. I mean, we grew up in the age of web rings, so there's a web ring out there
Wow.
somewhere who's like, oh yeah, that was the pillaging polar bear. By the way, it's called
Jesus.
pillaging polar bear.
That
is
is-
the white one.
That is like
Which is-
such a reference, dude. That we grew up in the age of web rings. Like,
Dude, I went on so many Ronin Warrior web rings during computer class, and just like I just want to learn more because as a little kid in the nascent days of the internet, like we got anime, like whatever was served to us through TV was the majority of it is what we got. It depended on if your area had a local video store that housed anything.
oh man,
Like that's where you got some stuff. Like I went to Videoland in Tustin and got so much stuff. And then later on, when I started working at Hollywood Video and I got to become a key holder, and I could order anime to put on the shelves because like we only had, I think like the first 2 cassette tapes of a bunch of different series, like samples, like here, people can try these, but like we didn't have the full series. So I was like, wait, so you don't just have more of so I ordered the entire series of something and just like, yep, I want to watch it. This is what we're doing.
I remember specifically, and like I try not to dox myself on these, but like I literally drove 4 cities over to a random Japanese market that would allow you to rent whole anime seasons. And I remember the moment I found that, like my entire world changed. I was like, wait, so I can binge watch the entirety of Record of Lodoss War in a weekend? Like,
So this 2 things. One, I'm fairly cool. Like I definitely don't agree with not doxing myself. Although if anyone remembers Videoland online, feel free to hit me up at Hapakenergy because Videoland was very like it was a time and an era.
yeah.
But the the other side of that, you just mentioned something and it connected to my Record of Lodoss War.
Yes.
I didn't learn until recently that was actually a D&D campaign that,
Yes!
that people
Yes.
yes
It's
and
so
that they
good.
turned into a series, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so bonkers.
It's the best.
And that like they even reached out to I guess it wasn't Wizards of the Coast at the time, but reached out to the team.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who it was, but like they reached out to whoever and like it was, hey, we want to do this, and they didn't like no like just being the stupid company that they are.
Yeah.
No, this is ours, and we're not. It's like fine, we'll make ours enough of an off-brand to make an anime out of it.
We'll make
And
our
like,
own
oh.
with blackjack and hookers.
Hookers. Yeah. And there's like fine, and they did. And it's the one of these like cornerstones of like the anime world, and like it's bonkers to me that it's just like it spawned out of a D&D campaign, and that at one point D&D could have had that in their back pocket and they just frittered it away.
Yeah. It's amazing. That was one of my like formative. That actually got me into D&D. Like when I learned the origin story of it, and I learned it specifically when I did go to rent it, and the guy that ran that part of the shop, he like went off. He was just like, "Did you know that this was D&D?" And I'm like, "What?" Like, I had
That's
no
crazy.
idea. Yeah,
I learned that like this year from a YouTube video.
Oh
And
wow.
I was just like, there's like, oh, the history of this. I'm like, oh, and they dove into it, and I'm like, that's so crazy and wild that people would just be. It blew my mind that that D&D, the company that at the time that had it, was just like, never mind, no, we just don't want to, no,
Right.
we just hate, and that's a long history of them just throwing away potential options and just like, no,
Yeah.
you
It's
guys are
like,
boring.
yeah, we're just not gonna do it. Our stuff is good enough. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah,
And then eventually they become owned by Wizards of the Coast, and then now Wizards of the Coast is releasing literally every Magic the Gathering crossover thing you possibly can find.
and well, then on that note too, though, because it's like you also have the more recent stuff where Wizards of the Coast is like, oh no, like we're gonna like semi-sponsor Critical Role, and then Critical
hmm
Role wants to do more stuff, and they're like, no, it's ours, we own all this. It's like you're morons. You just keep shooting yourself in the foot. You can't
Yeah.
help it. Like
Yeah.
why?
Well, and
Uh,
then they've inadvertently created a new enemy, right? Like now there is
yeah,
Daggerheart, which I'm just like, I like literally two of the other capers are running a game right now in Daggerheart, and I'm like slowly watching the memes come in off of it, and I'm just like, man, that's a huge misstep. Like you could have kept them in the ecosystem, but you didn't, and then they went off and created that. Like it's nuts. It's so
yeah,
like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah.
do you
But yeah,
wait? Do you play tabletop RPGs,
I
Ken?
don't as much as I don't as much as did at one time,
Okay.
mainly because of time. Just the same reason why I don't game as much because, after an 8 hour workday, it's like okay, I have the energy to do this, and that's
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
a nap and some food, and it's just the chaos of life, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's like having a static like when in your 20s you had static parties, you'd hop on every night and play Final Fantasy together.
Right. Right.
And like I had hours dedicated into that, and then eventually my mithril character just wandered off into the darkness and just never to be. And play online is the one who screwed me on that because they're like, oh, our servers are down and
Yeah.
things of that. So like
That.
they messed it up a little bit for me, but it's also just like life.
No, that's
I
fair.
I do have, however, far too many board games. Like I need my avatar to now to point over off into the darkness of just the shelves of board games and RPGs left unplayed.
hmm
And a part of that too is just because it's the timing stuff. It's like it's hard enough to get a static party together of like, oh, we're gonna get together every week and do something.
Yeah.
But also, if
Yeah.
you just get something once a month and play a board game, the time to set up for a board game is so much time. So it's like, okay, what do you end up doing? Like,
Yeah. That's fair. Like I remember I used to host a board game night at my place because like I figured out the trick was like you either become the DM or the host, and then that pulls everyone towards you.
yeah,
And like the thing was, what I would do is I would literally spend an hour and a half before everyone got there, like usually in the overlap of when I get back from work and I'm just gonna eat dinner really quick. I'll set the whole board game up and literally
yeah.
just like wait for everyone to show up, and then like, but then people got a little bit too comfortable with the fact that I did so much, and then it became one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, guys. Like,
That's fair. As a person who is always part of the invading army and not the host,
hmm
I always tried to be the best guest possible.
yeah,
And whether that's because of just uh, what to attribute to, whether it's immigrant parents or if it's just my own idiosyncrasies of just being like, oh no, I don't want to be impolite.
yeah,
I don't. I want to be invited back. So it's like, oh no, treat this place like you want to treat it yourself. Also, as part of that too is making sure that you take some duties off the host's hands. Like, oh, okay, if they're gonna set up, if they're gonna be the host, I'll bring dinner or I'll make dinner. I remember one night we got together at a friend's place and I
hmm
made fresh fettuccine alfredo because I had gotten a cool recipe for for alfredo sauce.
nice,
Made it fresh and it's pasta, so it's inexpensive, and we got together and we had a good meal. And it's you have to be a good guest and take care of the host as much as they're taking care of you because that's the biggest, like you said, either you have to be the GM or you have to be the host
hmm
to keep that going because the venue and the person running it are the two keyest points because there's nowadays like there's popping up like breweries that are like, oh, you can play game here. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, and that's we've done a few times for board games, but if those change or like if they're too busy, it's like it's fun to play a game there, but then it can eventually get to be too loud because it's a bar,
yeah,
and you're just like,
yeah.
okay, well, now what are we doing?
Yeah. And it feels weird to like, I know that like most people play at like their local game shop. I don't know why it feels weird for me to game at a local game shop. Like it feels like it's the realm of Warhammer gamers and no one else. Or maybe Magic the Gathering players. But like, yeah.
I think it's for me, it's part of the like, it's not my space. I don't necessarily feel super comfortable.
Yeah, that's fair.
And again, maybe it's that part of like being like, I'm visiting a friend's house and I want to be polite to the parents and I want to be like, I want to be invited back. And so I want to be a good guest. Also, there's the other side of it too, of like, if it's a game store, my brain is in, I used to be a server. This table needs to be turned over. They need to get a new group of people in here to get more money, and the server needs to make more money. That's not the case because they don't charge for the tables often. And they're just like, hey, just hang out here and probably buy a soda or two or a candy bar while you're at it, or buy a couple packs of cards. And I'm always like, it doesn't feel like I don't feel comfortable in the space in that regard, but it's more of a personal thing, I think.
Yeah.
Just the way that I was like brought up of like, no, you don't just wander, like you own the place. Like, no, I'm just a guest here. I'll be in the back. I'll roll my dice.
I'll be really quiet. I'll roll the dice on felt so you don't hear it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah.
On that note too, like I even bought dice trays for my friends, like for games and stuff. Back when I used to work at a comic shop, I bought dice trays for that. But then when we kind of closed up our gaming space, I took those over to my friend's place and we used them there because, again, I'm the guest. I'm like, hey, let's make it easier for the host. Here's dice trays. They're wooden. They're felt lined. It's nice. And like that's what you do as a good guest to me.
Yeah. I mean, shit, we should probably have a game night then because you're not going to be one of my terrorist guests.
Yeah, it's just like destroy things, treat pets poorly, which is another potential problem depending on the house.
That's fair.
I'm just like, oh, like get out of here, dog. It's like, no, they belong here more than you do.
Yeah,
watch your step.
This is their house, dude. Like you need to chill. Like
yeah.
Oh my god.
Those guests need to be like just put in check pretty quickly because it's like no. He lives here. You're just here to visit for a moment, and that moment is shortening as we talk.
Yeah, like the more my dog is squinting at you, the shorter your time here has become. Like,
yeah,
the second he raises his leg, I'm gonna let him pee on you, and then you can be disgusted and leave, and that's fine. We all were thinking it. So
yeah, you ruined that friendship as far as I'm concerned. Quite frankly.
Friendship over. Not with my dog. Nope. With you. I'm sorry. I'll never see you again. You're dead to me. It's like it's like that How I Met Your Mother skit when like Lily ever looked at him and said, "You're dead to me," and then they like vanish into smoke.
Play the music, yeah. They poof.
Yeah. It's like just Thanos snap and you're gone. So
yeah.
Just warning to everyone: if you ever meet me in real life and you meet my dog, if he doesn't like you, I will end you. I mean, you will not exist anymore. I mean, you won't exist to me.
You can treat me poorly, but if you treat my animal poorly, there's a bigger problem. Like
there is,
I can understand and forgive you, or we can talk it out and learn it. But like if you're rude to them, now this is where so long, farewell. Like
yeah, that's the other like it's funny because like when you talk about like the whole like immigrant kid vibe, like part of me wants to host people all the time because it's kind of like it's like I want to be generous. I want to have people over. I want to like gather people together. But then like the sort of old me and the the like shut in me is just like, please don't come into my space. I don't want you here. And it's like you have two wolves, right?
Yeah. It's like the one who's like, I want to host and put out food for everybody and make sure everyone's having a good time, but I want you to leave by 9 p.m. and be out of my house. Like, yeah, but you started at 8:30. You know what? Life's chaos. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do, guys? I'm sorry.
I thought this was a New Year's Eve party. Yeah, it was, and it ends at 9 o'clock.
We're on the West Coast. 9 o'clock is midnight.
We're done. Like, yeah.
We're good.
We watch the ball drop it for New York, and we go home.
Yeah, it's still light out. Listen, guys, if you're going to keep talking back to me like this, I don't know if I can have you over again. And my dog is giving you the side eye. So yeah. Maybe we just end this friendship
loud
here.
Yeah. Who brought the party poppers? Dogs don't like that. Now you're going to go. This is not... We're not doing this.
The best part is like my dog is like functionally bulletproof to everything. Like the things that would freak out a dog normally don't freak him out. The only thing that freaks him out is a doorbell. He hears a doorbell and he goes off like it's. And the funny thing is, he hears gunfire. He falls asleep, which my wife, bringing it back to the Division, my wife blames how much Division I played to why he falls asleep when he hears gunfire. Because he was a puppy curled up next to my leg as I was like murdering hordes of bad guys in the Division during the pandemic. And it just turned into like his sleep. That's his white noise. And so like we'll watch like a dumb action flick and he'll pass out. I'm like,
that's fair.
All right, cool.
All right, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but we like it. What was I was our topic Superman, and we just went off on toys for like.
Yeah, no. Our topic was we initially planned on talking about Superman, and then we started like, well, just talk about B-roll while we get things set up, just in case we need to clarify some things.
Right.
Then we talked about. I mean, it's the Zero episode anyway, so it's like that's
true.
That's what all that was, and. Now people are more familiar with us. They know to go head over to Tau Cape Brigade on Instagram and give us a follow.
And Hapakenergy.
Get us 500. Yeah, Hapakenergy.
Yep.
And yeah, so that was just what that was. I mean, we can definitely talk about Superman and dive into everything there is there. And yeah.
So like because I did want to pick your brain about Superman specifically because I have felt imposter syndrome for anything that has been like this is a deep dark secret. I like everyone get real close. Like I feel like an imposter when it comes to comic books everywhere. And like the thing is my wife looks at me like I am the expert at comic books because in relation to her knowledge base, I'm a goddamn genius when it comes to comic books. But when I stand next to people like you, sir, who like literally comic books are like in your bloodstream, I'm like, I don't know how to talk about it.
I should have stopped eating them. That was a problem. I really shouldn't have eaten so many comics as a kid.
I mean, the ink is pretty bad for you, but the paper content, I mean, I guess it's good fiber.
It's fiber,
right? Like
right? Yeah, there's that.
You just literally passed out rolls of paper towels whenever you sat in the toilet. Yeah. But yeah, so like with Superman, like the thing is like with most characters in comic books, I have a general understanding, and that's how I relate to them. Like, for instance, you know, Red Hood. I like him because he's technically the outcast Robin because I'm an outcast, and that's kind of like how I've always seen myself. Even though like I wish I was Batman, I know I'm not that good. I would probably shoot someone. And so it's like Red Hood, Punisher, like people that generally like have a black and white line that is very, you know, nebulous to them, but they're very much like just get it done. Those tend to be my people. But then tangentially, sorry, I'm going to do that every time.
That's okay. It's always just fun.
Like the guys that I have always kind of resonated with have been in the Marvel side, Captain America, and in DC has been Superman. Just because like I like to think sort of I was a Boy Scout, but like I like to think that I would be the Boy Scout, right? Like it's one of those things where like when I played Fable, did you play Fable? I know it's an Xbox property. Yeah. Did you go dark side or light side?
I went light side, but I think I do that most times out of just like, I mean, it also depends. Like, I mean, there's probably some darker things there here and there, but it was mostly Paragon.
Yeah. So I do the same exact thing, right? Which is like you are literally playing make believe, give in to your darkest tendencies, and even when I play make believe, I try to play the good guy. And so like when Superman came out, I was like, yes, because like one, I'm hot take, not a huge fan of the Snyder Superman. Sorry, just
that's fair.
Maybe it's not a hot take. Maybe a lot of people don't, but like I was kind of like, okay, is this the return to form of like good boy Superman? Because like the only other Superman content I'd consumed up until the latest movie was My Adventures with Superman, that animated series.
Yes, absolutely. That I have that on deck. I was gonna talk about that and speak to that because that is an awesome series, and I recommend everyone go check it out. The first season is on DVD if you want to, and I highly recommend it. And there's also a comic book series too from DC. They did about a 6-issue run.
What? Hold on, dude. Okay, I guess I'm updating my pick list.
But no, that's and doubling back real quick just because I am of a mindset of like I like to clarify. I always say that I'm a geek of many fandoms, a master of none, because while I think that I do have a fairly wide and in-depth knowledge to a certain point, there was always the iceberg.
Yeah,
and like I I'm a Jedi Knight, but maybe not a master. Like there are those out there who are like, oh no, they are the Yoda. They can cite issue and page, and they can be like, oh, that was the first appearance of this character, this,
Yeah.
just without even stopping to breathe. And there's like, here's all your info. There's people like when you go out to see a Star Wars movie, like, oh yeah, the new two TH 36s. Oh yeah, those were from this run, and that they covered that in the TIE Fighter games. I'm like, I can enjoy all of this, and I have to me a certain depth of knowledge,
Hmm.
but I don't have like it's not like a super specialization in just this one thing,
Okay.
where it's like, oh no, I know all that, but no, I still do know a lot of stuff. And then also on your note about like your touching point, like with some of these characters, like I've always been more of the Benvolio. Like I'm like I didn't play Romeo,
Hmm.
I played Benvolio. I was his friend and I was the side character. So it's like my connection with Superman, I mean, there's been any number of stuff from the original Superman movie
Hmm.
with Christopher Reeves, and there's the unfortunately timed acted character Lois and Clark, which
Oh,
was
yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Let's
good
not.
for time.
Yes. Yeah.
And Terry Hatcher's amazing.
Yes.
And there's things about that that inform my idea of like who's Perry White. Like that's like that's kind of the Perry White in my
That's
head.
fair. Yeah.
And Terry Hatcher does a great job in that too. And then there's the animated series, which the like STAS, which is the same time
Yes.
as the Batman the animated series, and that there are versions of those characters that are all informed by that. But the My Adventures with Superman is a great. I mean, it's a phenomenal take on Superman, especially post Snyder, where he's just a down to earth guy trying to live his life and figure out what his world is and what it means to be a Superman in the world. And it's like chef kiss. It's a perfect, like, as much as I love the I want to say the bold take that this one is,
Hmm.
that of the Superman 2025, like it feels like a lot of the groundwork was laid by My Adventures with Superman, although I doubt that he saw that,
Yeah.
because it's operating on a different field and it's not necessarily what he's into. Like,
Right.
and also jumping back to some other context, like you said, your favorite Batman family character is Jason Todd.
Hmm.
Mine's always been Dick Grayson
Hmm.
as Robin or as Nightwing, but it's like back to the Benvolio of it all. I'm like, oh, I like the character just like one removed off, and like, oh, I'll take Connor Kent, Superboy, over Clark Kent, because Clark Kent is kind of up on a pedestal. Like he's untouchable. Like the
It's true.
version that
Yeah.
I was introduced of Superman is he is a paragon, and you can't like it's unattainable. He's space Jesus, what
Yeah.
have you. But Connor's just trying to learn who he is in a world where there is a Superman. And for when he came about, he's like, am I Superman? Like I was created to become Superman, and
Hmm.
Superman's dead now. So like, what does that mean for me? And so that's where like that character, and similar like to Dick, and in the world of like, oh, I'm like I know who Batman is, but I'm not Batman, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
angst therein. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I like the processing of the whole character one removed, because the thing is like, yeah, I feel like I associated with like Superman and Captain America, but then whenever I get down to it, the characters that always seem to resonate with me, specifically like actually post MCU with like the Captain America. Let's go to the Marvel side of the house for a second. I know we're talking Superman,
Mhm.
but like I love Chris Evans Captain America. Like that is like he's, I don't know, he's cheesy, but somehow everyone is still like, yeah, he's the leader, right? But then like
Yeah.
when we got the whole Bucky dichotomy, and I was like, okay, like that might be my dude, because yeah, he's like haunted, right? Maybe this is my '90s edgelord kid coming out. But then
Oh
we
yeah.
met, then we met Falcon, right? That was just like kind of psyched to be there, and then he had that whole arc where he became Captain America in the MCU, and he just like wasn't sure about it, and I was like, that's my dude, right? Because it's like, yeah, I want to be Captain America, but I don't know if I am Cap, right? Nor do I think I'm ever worthy of being Cap until he kind of like steps into it. And like
Yeah.
I don't have that with Superman. Like that's why I've always related closer to the Batman family, because there's so many side characters to that. Whereas Superman is like just the main character, right? Like you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, all
I mean,
right.
it's funny though too, because like historically, Superman he's the one who had more of the family book before. Like the Superman family, you had
Really?
Jimmy Olsen comics, you had Lois Lane comics, you
Okay,
had a
okay.
bunch of stuff that kind of splintered off in those early years. Later on, this is tying into a random comment I saw one time
Hmm.
recently about the 2025. Is like I can't believe James Gunn created a super dog just so he could insert his own dog. And it's like, no, you're an idiot. Crypto's been in the comics for decades,
Yeah.
and you just don't know comics because you're a Snyder bro who just wants like punch good, yeah.
Yeah.
Like and for the audience, we didn't mention too much. I'm not a big fan of Zack Snyder. I think
Oh,
he's
okay.
done some good. I think that he's more, I don't know, flash over substance, and it's not for the better. Like ever, like I think I saw his Dawn of the Dead without knowing who he was. I'm like, okay, that's kind of it's fine because I was a big zombie fan at the time,
Yeah.
and but like the thing that put me at odds with Zack Snyder was Sucker Punch, and
Ooh. Oh.
the context of what that movie is going on. Like, yes, it's like it's girls in schoolgirl outfits fighting Japanese robot things, and they're also fighter pilots. But the actual context of what's going on there is far, 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 far darker than
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
admitting. And I'm like, that's not in the trailer too much. And like, why? Like, it's Inception. It's bonkers and bad in a lot of ways. And I don't. I walked into that film being like, I can't believe I just like what was the what just happened? And friends of mine are like, oh, that was so cool when this happened. I'm like, yes, fighter pilot's fun, but the everything else that happened in the background, did you not process
Yeah.
what the dancing meant? And like this is horrific. This
Yeah.
is that Oscar Isaac guy is horrible. I hate him. And then he's goes he's cool, like he's good in other roles, and I love Moon Knight, and we can talk about other stuff. But it just like the message of that movie was like way off base, and people did not catch it. And I'm like, just because cool hot girls fight things, I'm like, all right, I guess I don't know.
So
The
okay.
messaging was wrong.
So listen, we're friends. I can tell you this. I liked Sucker Punch, but I agree with you that it was a much darker story than most people gave it credit for. The thing
Yeah,
was, I actually dug the fact that it was a dark story because, like, I guess I'm much of an edgelord now. Now that I'm like sitting here having to think on all my stuff, like I kind of understood it as escapism, and so like my brain was like, even as a watcher, I was going there for escapism because I was like, hot girls with katanas fighting robots. Like, yes, I want to escape, and it felt like a Inception level escapism thing. I'm pretty sure he wasn't thinking that hard about it. I think he was just like, let me write a dark storyline. But like,
exactly.
yeah. But at the same time, like, I didn't come out of it being like that storyline didn't exist. I was like, oh, that's really fucked up. But the visuals were very
But
cool.
but yeah, but when she took out the giant robot samurai, that was pretty badass.
I
And
mean,
it's
all of my
and no,
desktop backgrounds are freeze frames from, well, not anymore, but they used to be,
yeah.
were like freeze frames from that movie because it was like visually, like, this is the part where like I have to fight with myself, where I'm just like, visually this is very cool. From a writer standpoint, I applaud that there was some dark stuff in there, but I don't know if he was being nuanced enough to include it in such a way that, other than being kind of weirdly exploitive, like. And so it's like, again, you got two wolves. Like, ooh,
Yeah.
picture pretty, ooh, story messed up. And I'm just like, I was in my 20s, so yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
picture one. So
Yeah, and there's definitely those aspects of it too. It's like how much is the artist responsible for his message getting across,
yeah.
and is he responsible for people kind of picking up on some of that, and should he like that? But that comes down to editors and stuff who also have their hands in the making
That's
of
true.
things. So
That's true, yeah.
there's a lot to unpack there, but it didn't like as he went on, he didn't find new ways. He didn't learn from that in any
Hmm.
way and then make, oh no, I need to make the messaging on this a lot clearer. So in the next one, he's just gonna let Superman watch his father die and just be totally he could totally stop it and
Yeah.
like alter a key part of who Superman is and just like, no, it's good. Paul Kent should just be advocating for letting kids die to protect your secrets. Like, no, that's
It's
where like
dark, yeah.
I don't like I understand like that there are and there's aspects of me too, like when I'm reading comics, like some people are like, oh, can you believe the new issue of this did this in the comics? I'm like, yeah, but we live in a multiverse, so like it'll be rewritten in a year and
Yeah,
that will have
yeah.
never happened. But with movies as the more general audience thing, I'm like, they have a certain responsibility to impart the best story possible, so it pushes people to go read the comics. Like
Mhm.
that's where I want to read, like the Injustice video game, which I think is at the time when it came out, I was kind of like, evil
Right.
Superman, okay. Like I've seen the story before,
Yeah.
done better, but then the comics brought in other aspects, and I'm like, okay. Eventually, I gave it a chance, and the comics had some stuff there, but when people are like, oh, well, you got to watch this because it's like Superman, but he's kicking ass and he's gonna, he's not gonna take any shit from Zod. I'm like, that's not Superman. Like that's
Yeah.
not my key, like my headcanon,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you will, of
Yep.
Superman. And it's like I need the mainstream stuff, like the movie tier, to keep a certain baseline close to my headcanon, which it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's got to be pretty close to who Superman is for that main property.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah.
that's why, like, and there's episodes within My Adventures with Superman that cover a little bit of the multiverse and like, oh, what about a dark take on Superman? And they kind of hint at it,
Hmm.
and it's like, oh, that's, I mean, spoilers for those who are going to watch it, but they do address it. But it's like also who we have, the Kal-El or Clark, when we get him home. That's the one we have in the main timeline. That's who we get to like love, and he loves us because he's just like, I know that I'm just trying to protect my planet. Like, why wouldn't I? Like,
Yeah.
this Earth raised me. Like, I want to protect everyone.
Well,
Like,
and I
that's
feel
who.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like Superman has that core value, and I think the Snyder take was so far off of it that I was just like, I get it because like I sort of learned after Sucker Punch, like that is just kind of the Snyder take that like
Yeah.
let's do it, but let's make it dark, and I'm like, literally this character is like Space Jesus. Like, how are
Yeah.
you going to try to make Space Jesus dark without functionally creating the Lex Luthor sort of headcanon? Like, you can't.
Yeah, exactly. You can't have like that Superman who just like, oh, there's a bomb about to go off in the middle of a giant thing. I'm just gonna stand there and let everyone die,
Yeah.
and like you're gonna do the like it. And like yes, that gives that Lex Luthor all the more reason. Like no, you like that's why. I mean, spoilers for Batman v Superman. That's why Batman's like, no, you can't trust him. He's an alien. It's like that's the
Yeah.
same line of thinking that Luthor has in our new Luthor Spider-Man Superman movie,
Yeah.
and it's because no, we can't trust him. It's like that's that's where you put this Superman diametrically opposed to Luthor. It's like no, I just do good, and the only reason why you can't envision a person doing good is because you're so corrupted.
Yeah.
Like you can't just let someone do good, and like if they give you reason aside from your own psychoses, like you're just upset about it, and that's a really good dichotomy in this new Superman that they show. Like, no, he just wants to do good, and Luthor doesn't get that because he's just jealous and obsessed, and
Hmm.
he can't.
Hmm.
Yeah,
How did you?
there's just so much.
So, I did have kind of a sort of like a functional question. Like in the new
Yeah,
Superman, sorry, spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen. No, you've seen them in the fucking trailers. There's like Mr. Terrific, there's Hawk Girl, and there, of course, the ever impressive Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. Like, one, what was that? Like, I know that they were making a joke that it was functionally the Justice League, but then they like weren't the Justice League, and they were definitely trying not to call themselves that, so they called themselves what, the Justice
Justice
Gang?
Gang.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Is that in comics? Like that particular trio in that kind of arrangement being corporate sponsored? Like,
Yes and no. So
okay,
not that particular trio,
okay,
but essentially with the version that they're using for Guy Gardner is kind of where they're plucking the Justice League International stories that give you kind of like jerk ass Guy Gardner with a
okay,
bowl cut
yeah.
who gets one punched by Batman, and Mr. Terrific, I don't believe is in. I'm fairly certain he's not in that iteration. I'm trying to think if Hawk Girl is. I'll have to pull up some reference because it's like I don't think she is because I think it's like Fire, Ice, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold. Like I'm trying to picture the covers in my head. Um, but it is a very specific kind of like, and it's also funded by Maxwell Lord, who we get played by James Gunn's brother, who plays Kirk in Gilmore Girls, and I can't remember his name suddenly.
No,
Uh,
great. Now I'm gonna be referencing. Give me a
I mean,
second.
an editor will drop it in an image and just like pointing at my head, like you're an idiot. Um, but
Oh yeah,
Kirk, no, it's not.
Sean
Sean Gunn.
Gunn.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So Sean Gunn plays Maxwell Lord, who funds the team,
Mm-hmm.
and then later on is there's more stories later on, but yeah, there's a iteration of the Justice League International that
Ooh.
you can now see in the Discord.
Okay.
Um, that is kind of the Maxwell Lord is on the far left,
Mm-hmm.
and get the guy that we're speaking of is on the right, just behind Black Canary.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a different iteration of the Justice League, but it was Justice League International at this time.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a couple different really good books. The Keith Giffen run was a lot of fun and a good era, but it's of an era, and it's very specific. I want to say it's very specific, but there's a lot of different like they took it in a lot. There was like the 90s of it all, and then
Mm-hmm.
later on they did a series called I Can't Believe It's Not the Justice League, and oh god,
Very,
what was the other
very
one? 'Cause
cheeky.
yeah, but they're very sort of like tongue in cheek, making nods to the idea, like, oh no, this is like, yes, you have your A team with the Justice League America, but then your B team is the International. They're also like Justice League Europe, and then Justice League Antarctica, which is
Mm-hmm.
another like branch thereof.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Another nerd will come back and correct us, but please go ahead and hit us in the comments and give us those corrections, and I'll give them a
You are
thumbs up.
so good at this. Like
I just
my
I
brain
just
always forgets to plug. I'm like,
no,
oh right.
I want them to hit us up, because I mean that's the engagement is what's kind of the key of the game. Also,
Sure.
if I'm saying something wrong, I will correct other people because I'm that bad of a nerd. I will nerd splain. So it's like, if someone wants to do it to me, that's fine. Just cite your sources, please, so
Fair enough.
I can follow the links on Wikipedia. But yeah, so it's a different, it's semi there. Like there's like that guy Gardner's there specifically. Um, the Mr. Terrific is more JSA.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a shade or two removed from the other Mr. Terrific. Like if you look at him on Justice League Unlimited,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
that's a take that I'm more familiar with. Also, there was a version in Arrow, which was good as well. I think the one that plays more, to my knowledge, is just the Justice League Unlimited version.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Hawkgirl is also in Justice League the cartoon, as well as Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
And she's a little bit there. She's a little more complex because she's got so many different iterations of her history, because she's sometimes a reincarnated spirit from Thanagar, but also an Earthling, and
Oh
she's
wow.
a very confusing historical character because of the different iterations they've wanted to do over the years. Pardon me.
No, you're good.
Guy similarly is also very, like, this version is works for this. I'd like to see another version where he is more the space cop, and
Yeah.
there's a timeline where he partners up with Kyle Rayner, my favorite Green Lantern, and they do like adventures out in space. This is like just before Sinestro Corps War and the Blackest Night storyline.
Okay.
But yeah, Guy has a great history, or I shouldn't say that. Guy has a convoluted history in that, like, at times he's constantly been in a coma and regularly receives traumatic brain injuries, and so that's at one point it's even attributed to the idea that he has the blood of a Voldarian. Was it called Voldarian? Where he's like, at one, okay, so Guy Gardner was a Green Lantern, and then he wasn't because they wanted to bring in Hal and do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bring back Hal, and then they had John. Guy got a Yellow Lantern ring before it was a Yellow Lantern. He's just called a Yellow Power Ring because
Okay.
Sinestro had it crafted.
I
It did
was
the same thing.
I was going to ask
Yeah.
about that because that was something that I actually picked up from one of my first few picks was the Death of Superman, like the compendium, and I remember seeing Guy Gardner in there and being like, why is he's a green? No, is he a Green Lantern? No, he's not a Green Lantern, but he has a yellow
No.
power ring, right? And then like I remembered that vaguely as I was reading like like darkest was it Darkest Day?
Blackest Night?
Blackest Night. And then I remember thinking, I'm like, wait, there's an actual Yellow Lantern Corps. So wait, is he a
Right.
Yellow Lantern? Like, it's very confusing.
Yeah, I mean when we start getting into the technicalities of it too. So he wasn't a Yellow Lantern, but he was a Red Lantern for a bit, and like he was also a Blue Lantern, I think. Was it? Because so no, it was red and green he had at the same time. So after the War of Light, there was a lot of different, like, oh, well, we've got to infiltrate this, so let's use these rings, and there's a lot of stuff going on with like the different ring shifting around. But for a short time period after Sinestro was depowered, he went off to the end. He was shunted into the antimatter universe, and he had the Quardians build him a yellow power ring, which was essentially just a standalone item. It wasn't part of a core. It was just a yellow power ring that did everything he needed it to do, and it didn't need to be recharged. And it was just that. And then at one point, Guy got it from his ghost and wrestled it from him, and he had the power ring for a little while. And then eventually it started to short out, and he used Booster Gold's suit for a little while to help augment it.
Oh wow.
And after that, I'm going to drop another image in chat so we can have it behind us. He got the powers of a Voldarian, which were he essentially had the bloodline of this. He could make weapons out of his arms and make like cannons.
What the
and
hell?
it's just like the whole like, well, we still want to have him in the comics and we still want to have him have powers, but like he wanted to be a hero and he wanted to continue on.
Yeah.
But like we don't. This is also after all the power rings were destroyed and Kyle was the only Lantern. So like they were just kind of like, well, let's try this.
That is
Eventually
90s as hell. I'm sorry. This.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
And so eventually, when Jeff Johns decides I want to bring back all my favorite characters from my childhood, I want to shunt off all these people who are far cooler and should have been kept around longer. I need an avatar now shaking my fist in anger, like at a
Here,
cloud.
I'll do it for you. Like
there we go.
Right here. Yeah.
Go Saiyan.
Oh, I should do that emote. Shit.
There you go. Right. But he gets resurrected kind of, or he gets brought back, and then all of the Voldarian DNA gets erased from him, which I don't know how that's a thing, but it is. So he no longer has that. And now he's just a Green Lantern going through his stuff. And then eventually we get to the whole, he works as a Red Lantern for a bit, and it's a whole thing. And comics, folks. Comics, everybody.
Comics. That's comics.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. We went
So,
all over the place on that one.
But yeah, so there's different iterations of Guy. And during the Voldarian stuff, it was said that part of his constant fluctuations between being a nice guy and being a jerk ass Homer kind of guy is because of his Voldarian bloodline, his half brother kind of character was altering his moods, and like it's it's
comics.
It's the plight of anyone who's not Superman or Batman, where it's like, oh, we can mess with these secondary characters or third tier characters however we want, and just like erase parts of their history. Just like, oh no, that didn't happen anymore. Like what? It's bonkers. It's comics.
Have you heard the take? By the way, like pulling it all the way back to like the Superman 2025 movie. Have you heard the take that like the DC universe isn't going to be like a DCEU? It's going to be like basically individual movies. Like I forgot which podcast I was listening to, but they were theorizing that like maybe just make good movies, right? Like maybe the Superman movie doesn't have to spin off a Green Lantern movie, doesn't have to spin off a Hot Girl movie, right? And I was like, I feel like we're so trained as a society to expect that. And so like that's where my brain went when I finished watching it. I was like, wait, are we going to get a Supergirl movie? We are getting a Supergirl movie, but
we are getting a Supergirl movie.
Yeah.
I think the take is one that's kind of like it's a desire for not needing to read the crossover events. And so people who, I mean, essentially the same feeling that people have in comics of just like, I just want to read my Green Lantern comic. I don't want to have to read the 6-issue crossover event that happens with Justice League and Batman. I just want to read my comic.
Yeah.
And the push on your wallet that is, and the push on your time that is.
Yeah.
Do I think that we're going to do that? I don't think so, because we've James Gunn has kind of come out and said, like, no, there will be connective tissue. Like the Lanterns TV show that we're going to get potentially is going to have Guy Gardner in it, is what I've already heard.
Hold up. We're getting a Lanterns TV show?
Yes. So Jon Stewart is the rookie in this series, and he's being trained by Hal. And Hal's like kind of like older Hal, where he's like the rougher, like veteran cop on the force.
Okay.
And it's more of an Earthbound event, which I mean that's fine for the first season. Yeah. Although if they go in outer space in the second season, that's going to drastically throw off a lot of like viewers, that's a discussion for storytelling and how you go season to season, but that's another discussion. But yeah, so that's what we're going to eat for Lanterns. And I've heard like there's been the statement that James Gunn said like, yeah, we had a story for X, but we didn't have a script, so we didn't start shooting. We didn't go any further than that until I have a script. If I don't
Oh,
have a good
interesting.
script, I don't want to greenlight anything. I'm like, that's a good point to have. Like, don't just say like, oh, we're gonna have a Blade movie in this year, and then not have like you have a cast, but you don't have anything else. And I'm like, no, don't do that. And that's like that's where they learned from other people's mistakes of like, no, let's wait till we have something. Wait till we have a story we want to tell.
Yeah.
Which is that to me is good storytelling. Don't just be like, well, we need to have a Young Justice book out there, which I love Young Justice, so that's my example.
Yeah.
And just be like, oh well, we're gonna put something out. Like, well, we're gonna put out like something. We'll put some
figure it
people
out,
to it.
yeah.
We'll figure it out. Like, no, give me a story you want to tell, and we'll give you like we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah. So and I
Man.
think let's see, we were jumping all over. Hawk Girl, I thought was a good iteration of Hawk Girl. I know some people were thrown off by her screeching, but I'm like, I mean, there's there's a Thanagarian version where she's not a human, she's a
Straight
alien
up a
thing.
hawk,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Ugh.
So yeah, and then I'm trying to think of any other things. I was yeah, Superman was really good. I think that I mean if we're just going off of like things at the end or
Yeah.
like any spot, I was and this is again spoilers. I was thrown off by the idea that the video that we see eventually of like the translation in quotations of what his parents are saying the is correct, and I'm like verified by like who's to say any of this is right? You like I don't like the idea like that. To me, the story should have been like, no, this is information and fake news, misinformation and fake news.
Yeah.
Someone's saying what they want to say about you, and you're like, oh no, we spoke with experts. What experts? Who did you speak to that's a Kryptonian speaks Kryptonese and can say this is what they said?
That's
Especially since the
fair.
first
I didn't even think of that. Like,
yeah, and they're like James Gunn has come out and said like no, that's what it said, and like the purpose of that was so that he would then turn to his Earth family as his parent, and like okay, I guess I get that, but also in 2025, I think looking to the people who are releasing misinformation and double checking them, and maybe I was told that I wouldn't be fact checked. Like, no, you're going to be fact checked always. This is
Yeah.
the world we should live in.
Yes.
And that should have been a focus of that. But also, when you have the translation is "we love you more than ground," I think, or what do they say? They say we love you more than I want to say ground.
Yeah, I think
But it's weird wording where it's like it feels like it's a mistranslation. So it's like if when you have that version put out and then they don't even alter the beginning, they just say, oh no, like so you don't even know, like we have issues translating video games, let alone translating unknown languages we've never heard of from this planet. There's any number of potential for error there. But then also like in a retroactive thing, I'm like, or you could have your cousin at the end of the movie translate it for you because she grew up on Krypton, for God's sakes.
That's
But
also fair. Yeah. Shit. Okay. Well, damn, dude. I should probably watch like superhero movies with you because this is that is like my brain was like, cool, good movie. Walking out. I didn't even think that like, yeah, who is independently verifying like this information? Like it's
and for
like
Mr. Terrific to take it too, like, no, dude, you shouldn't. You are already untrusting of people in power, which I appreciate. Like that's a good position to have, and like him just being like, oh no, it's correct, I checked it. Like against what? Like by what verifiable kind of I don't know what was your benchmark?
Yeah.
How where's your Rosetta Stone to translate this? And so I don't know, and yeah.
Well, okay,
Also,
so
like,
go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No.
I would say there's other little things too, like when Superman comes back after getting the recharge and he starts to fight with the Hammer of Baravia, as they're calling him at the time. I'm like, why wouldn't he stop and destroy all those little drones that are flying around first? Like even just the first time I'm watching that, I'm like, well, why would he just run in head first and do that and not take a moment and size up the scenario? But it's so that later on in the final battle, again, spoilers, he can have Crypto there to do that. So it's like it's just kind of set up for later. And so I'm like, okay, there's like my own like out of character knowledge of like, well, Superman would come to this a little more thoughtful after getting beat up so much. Also, like I don't know, like he never looked at the Hammer of Bravia through his with his X-ray
X-ray
vision,
vision,
but
yeah.
I guess I don't know. It's there's lots of little things where you just like with many bits of media, it's like it didn't happen so we could have more story. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but like that's most of Flash and Arrow on the CW is like, oh, he can't do that because we need more story. Okay, fair enough.
That's a whole other call, by the way. like
Yeah,
like talking
yeah.
about the Arrowverse, I feel like okay, wait. So like I want to get us wrapped up, but I had two more items. So one, we got to Supergirl, right?
Yes.
I find it like a very hilarious take on Supergirl because like I said, my latest exposure to Superman besides this movie was My Adventures with Superman, right? And in that particular version, it was the evil Supergirl kind of variant where it was like she was sorry, spoilers for anyone watching it, but she was like manipulated by Brainiac to be like a, malignant force. Unwilling malignant force, but still a malignant force. And so oh, interesting. I wonder why our audio dropped out.
I don't know.
Oh,
Is it something I did on my end?
nope. It came back in. That's weird.
Okay.
I'll cut that. But yeah, like that version of Supergirl. And then in this one, and I was like, this is a new take. Like Supergirl as a party girl, which I'm like, is that a James Gunn thing? Like, is that
No.
no?
No. It's actually in the comics. It's in. There's a couple different. There's the story that they're basing off of. It actually that's where she starts. She starts at a alien bar because she needs alien elixirs to get her drunk because she's
Interesting.
Kryptonian.
Yeah.
But the idea of a character who's watched her entire world die to a certain degree, and she's all alone in the world aside from her cousin, and just dealing with the repercussions of what that happened. Like we don't know how long ago she came to Earth, like long enough for Kal-El to be familiar with her, but also long enough that she's also has her own suit on this planet,
Yeah.
and
Interestingly.
so it's like there's that. So like there's the aspects there, but no, there's a story there. There's other stories too where she joins up with. So Superman has a history of joining with the Legion of Superheroes, which
Yeah.
is a super future-based team,
Yep.
and like he travels through time and hangs out with them as a kid, and so young super character does go to them. Like Superboy did it, so did Superboy Connor Kent, and so did Kara. She has a time where she went off with the Legion and had kind of a Rumspringer or that type of coming of age story.
Yeah.
And so there's a more recent story. I think it's Woman of Tomorrow. I'd have to double check it, but we'll try and throw an image up there. But yeah, that's where the kind of the story starts, and it's like, yeah, if you think like she somewhat recently came to Earth, found out her last living relative is there, and she knows her world's gone, and she experienced it. Unlike
Clark?
Kal-El, who
Yeah.
is essentially he's Moses, or is it Moses? Yes, came to Earth, and like is left off in a rocket, and
Yeah. Moses.
he never
Yeah.
experienced Krypton. He has videos and some material, but he never experienced it. He didn't grow up in the culture. She did, and so her experiences is that much different than his. So it's not only is she there's only two of them. Even he doesn't have the same experience she had because she had a life on Krypton. So her coming to grips with that, maybe she wants to drink now. Like that's maybe I need some time to myself, and I just need to just go do me, and you take care of my puppy, and I'll be back in like a month because it takes a while to fly to
Yeah.
Venus, and I'll be back, and I'm fine with it because I think that the story that they're gonna get to will be worth it. It was a bit off-putting for her to call him bitch. I wish she would have called
Yeah.
him dork,
Yeah.
or like because it's like that part, but that part's more James Gunn. It's the same guy who worked at Troma Films for years, and the same guy who made Slither and made so many other projects that people don't talk about. Was it Brightburn? Was that his?
Brightburn.
I think he
was it Brightburn?
produced Brightburn. But yeah, or I know he did Super
Yes.
as well.
Yeah, it was Brightburn.
Yeah, Brightburn. So like there are stories out there that he has that twinge of like of Peter Quill flipping off the camera. So it's like I wish she would just called him a dork because she could have seen him as a dork. Like he is a nerd. Like that's kind of who Clark is to her. But she said bitch, and that's it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it did kind of play well. So like I love watching these movies with like my wife because she is like a very uninitiated nerd, right? She enjoys comic book movies, but she isn't necessarily vested. Like 90% of the time when we watch whatever the next sequence is, I usually have to remind her of what was happening when we get there. And like for her saying bitch like was very much of the kind of mindset of like, yes, she's like, because okay, so I'm not doxing myself. We live in Southern California. That's a Newport party girl. Like that is a girl, that is a blonde drunk on a yacht. That's like,
It's a woo girl if you're a fan of How I Met Your Mother.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And so like it didn't hit as hard, but you're right. If she said dork, that would have made way more sense. Like in the context of it. Like,
Yeah, in the context of a little more of a softer a softer DC world of like, she's still a Supergirl and she's gonna, but also too you have to think she is within the confines of the Fortress of Solitude, and it can maybe tie to the idea of I there's a bad take I feel that Quentin Tarantino has about Superman that he puts forth in Kill Bill, and I don't agree with that take. But there is the idea of like who is Clark Kent and like or who is Superman when he's alone in the Fortress of Solitude, or that's where his core is. I don't necessarily think that. I think like that's true for Batman, and I think Batman sees Bruce Wayne is the facade, Batman is the real him to a certain degree, but I also think the real him is when he's in the cave with Alfred, Ace, and Dick, and they're like talking about something, and because he's not putting on airs I mean, maybe a little bit, but not as much as when he's out fighting crime. Like he is the Dark Knight at that time, but he's the kid who lost his parents when he's back in the Batcave, who's dedicated to saving people. So in that same turn, Clark Kent. Superman is Clark Kent. He's not Kal-El because he didn't grow up in the culture to be Kal-El. He's Clark Kent because that's what he grew up in. Like he can still feel like, oh, I don't fit in here. So for added context, I am Hapakenergy is the screen name. But I didn't grow up in the culture. I grew up just as a passing half Asian kid who knew he was different but didn't know what it was because I didn't know my dad. But like later on in life, I learned thanks to like 23andMe and all that stuff. Like, oh, this is this, and I found family, and there was more of an expansion there. But it's like not growing up in the culture, it's different. Like I can be like, oh, that's me over there, but not really because I grew up with it. Aside from maybe one of my good friends in high school, his mom's like, you're half Asian, right? I'm like, yes, you recognize I'm passing, but you can see that. Yeah, I still feel seen so much, and like that was a big moment because it's like if you're it's just a different mindset. And so like I feel like I have no claim to it, but I still do know that I do. But it's also I feel like imposter syndrome in that way of like I'm that but not. So yeah. And so that's where I think like Clark is Clark because he's who he's always been, and Superman is a facade.
Got it. Do you think with the Supergirl movie, like, is it going to pick up right from there? You think they're going to do a time skip where she's a little bit less woo girl and more like, I feel like because it's James Gunn, he'll probably lean into the woo girl thing so that it gives her a good arc where it's just like, she goes from like functionally the 0 to hero arc, right? Where it's just like, she's a drunk with a very unruly dog and then finds what really drives her and then steps into the shoes of a superhero, right? Like, but I mean,
it's like a coming of age story of like, I don't necessarily want this responsibility. That's the other thing too, is like, not only did she leave behind her planet and all of her life, she now is here and she has superpowers. Like they didn't like, that wasn't in the cards for her growing up. She was just a normal Kryptonian, and now she has superpowers under a yellow sun. So like, okay. Like that means that's a completely different set of responsibilities. Like, and I'm sure that's something that Clark's imparted to her. It's like, no, you're here now. You have a responsibility. You're wearing my S. Like that means something, and that's a bunch of responsibility she doesn't want to deal with right now. She's still dealing with that loss. It's like I think it'll be a coming of age story of like we'll probably catch her still maybe at a party, and then the adventure ensues. But yeah, I can see that being where the story is. I definitely recommend those who are interested check out Supergirl: Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King. That's kind of the loose base. That's the vibe base for this, similar to how All Star Superman was the vibe base for this story of
Got
Superman
it.
2025.
Wait, which one was the inspiration for this movie? Which
All
run?
Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely.
Okay.
That was kind of like the vibe base for what he wanted to go for. And there's other stories too that are kind of in there too and mixed up, but that was where he's kind of like, no, this is the Superman that I want to write, and so this is what's been pointed to for Supergirl, being this is the kind of vibe base for that. Yep, that's it.
Okay. Cool. Just I want to make sure to put it, and then potentially, if we want to put a pick list together for people from this episode, that might be something that we could do too.
And they can find the pick list. Just go down to the comments or in the description here on YouTube, and you'll find it there.
Mm-hmm.
And be sure to follow and hit that notification bell so you are notified for every new episode that comes up.
Again, just you're very good. Like I'm always just like, oh yeah, that's right. I need to tell people to like and subscribe and all that crap. And I'm like, I always forget to do it.
We're not going to get into the thing of like only 25% of you are actually following me now. Like, that's not us yet.
I hate those. I hate those so much. And the thing is, like, it's channels I subscribe to, so it feels almost more insulting to me because I'm like, I'm already subscribed to you guys, and you're wasting 15 seconds of my life to sit here and guilt the rest of them. Like, just get on with the video, guys. Like, I'm glad that trend passed. Like, I don't see it as much anymore on videos.
Yeah, it's definitely dropped off. Probably because they didn't see a significant return. So like, never mind. Actually, I saw some of the ones I follow. They're like, don't even subscribe now. Just make sure you give me a like, because that affects the algorithm differently. And I'm like, that's a meta level. Like, oh, I need this to punch this to do this. And I'm like, more power to you. If you're a good video, I will try and remember to hit the like button because I want to do whatever I can do for free to give you the boost up, because I'm not necessarily going to subscribe to every Patreon that walks past me. So
no, that's a JPG thing, but that's another call.
Yep.
Okay, so thank you, Ken, for going through Superman with me today, because like legitimately, I feel less imposter syndrome now that I have all this context and like awareness of all the different parts that kind of went into making this movie.
Well, yeah. And I think it's a matter of there's always different tiers to fandoms. Like, yeah, you're not going to necessarily out there having a Superman tattoo, but also at least you've read some of the comics and you genuinely enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's an aspect to some fandoms that's like they just want to be a part of the conversation, so they'll watch it, but then they'll shit on it. I'm like, no, if you want to talk about it, if you want to talk about Superman and you love it, cool. Like, and you're coming from a position of true, like a genuine appreciation, welcome to the party. Let's do this. Let's talk about it. But if you're just here to be like, oh, it's not as good as the Snyderverse because Snyder did it better, it's like, no, this isn't a genuine, this isn't a good faith argument that you just want to shit on something.
Yeah. Which is like, I hate how much of that is the culture now. Like,
yeah,
I feel like the ability for people to consume culture has allowed people to kind of spread out into places, but you kind of you want to gatekeep a little.
A little bit.
You want to gatekeep just a little bit because you don't really need the negativity there, right? Like, it's just like, I'm not going to say everything is perfect about it, but don't come in here with the express written concern of just shitting on it. Like that feels bad. So
it sucks too, because it's like, you also know, like, there's the other side of it, like, well, we need the click, so we've got to have, like, you won't believe what happens in this. Like, there's an episode of someone I follow, I think NerdSync, where it's like, this is where I destroy Ben Shapiro. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can appreciate taking down Ben Shapiro, but I also don't want to see his face for 50% of your video, because I just want to just smush it.
Yeah.
So now I'm not going to click on the video because I don't want to deal, like, I don't know. Also, I don't want to give into clickbait because I hate that type of journalism, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean,
it's like, necessary in its weird world, so it works. But yeah.
And you see that with a lot of YouTube channels. Like, it's like the death of the channel, right? Like, it moves away from the content in order to chase the algorithm. And it's just like, I don't know. It's really, I've had to clean my feed. And so, like, now I'm just following people that make things for the sake of making them. They're literally, like, some of their intros are literally like, I don't know how many people are going to watch this video, but I'm really excited about this, so I want to talk about it. And I'm like, yes, do that.
And that actually takes us back to the very beginning of the conversation of channel drift. Like, I want to talk about things that excite me. you know, Hapakenergy. I want to talk about Battle Beast. I want to talk about Superman. I want to talk about Jedi, and I want to talk about this over here. But the algorithm is fed best if you're just like, oh, I'm just mainlining Superman every day. All I talk about is Superman. But I don't want to. I'm not just that. I am so many things that I want to post a picture of me at con, and I want to post a sketch that I got, and I want to post a new figure. And the media is not built for that right now, and
I don't think
channel drift is constant. So
yeah, I don't think it ever will be, which is kind of the bummer of it. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I love creators that make things that make them happy, and it's like, but the joke is like my algorithm is fed off of stuff that like make me happy, and the thing is like a lot of those creators are just making that niche because they've realized that people like that particular thing. And so it's like it's the push and pull of just like me as a creator, I don't want to be constrained to a single channel, but me as a consumer is like I like these channels because they're giving me the one thing, right? And it's just like the dichotomy of human need, like which thing do you want more in the world? And it's just like, I don't know, man. I'd be okay if the internet ceased to exist. Like, I love finding out information about, okay, bring it back. The Record of Lodoss War. Finding that out and being the only kid on the playground that had that knowledge because I was able to talk to another, like, weeb nerd that I was renting this video from. Like, that made me freaking Gandalf, dude. Like, it was just like, who are you? Now it's like...
I mean, and I think that's going to be a lost generational thing because moving forward... Well, yes and no, because lost media is going to take a giant, like, I love the idea of lost media and like, oh, what about this TV show that no one ever watched? But it's like, but I watch it and probably at least another 100 or 1,000 people watch it too. But that's going to take a big turn when things do disappear off the internet. Like you can't find them. Like Internet Archive can only do so much.
Yeah.
And so the idea of like our era of like, oh, I heard that if you go to the dungeon in Zelda and you do this, you can get this specific thing. That was all word of mouth, and that's how we lived. But now it's like, oh, it's all out there. There's at least 25 different videos about that one thing, but can you find the right one where the guy is also not a MAGA racist? And you're like, oh, well, I don't want to give you a click. And you're just like, how do I navigate this internet now?
Yeah.
And like, can't I just have a web ring back where I just go to the same guys who just do that?
We got it.
All one time about Ronin Warriors.
That's what we got to do, man. We got to go back. We got to reinstitute web rings. You know what's funny? I should just start a Patreon called the OG Web Ring, and then that's just where we can collect people to talk about stupid stuff or like IRC. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Make just MIRC all over again. Like,
dude, yeah. RSS feeds are like I don't think they work anymore, and I just like that was an era of the internet that is now gone, and I think it's gone because but yeah, it's just like things are changing, and I don't know if we'll ever get back to some of the cool things that we had, and yeah. But on a side note too, also I've been going through storage, and there's a comic book series called Warlands, which was just a copy of Record of Lodoss War, and then I have action figures from it, but it's weird because it's like when you think about it, like, oh, Warlands is a copy of Record of Lodoss War, which is a copy of this, and it's like all these different things. That popped in my head.
Was that from Image? Like Image
yes, it
comic
was.
books? Oh my god.
Yep.
I think I had
like,
one of these.
You probably had some of them. Like you look up Image Comics Warlands, and you just be wow, like they were just full on, just Record of Lodoss War when they didn't have it.
That's
like, okay, well then.
That is crazy. Okay,
there's not even images on the Wikipedia. That's wild. How's
yeah,
images?
You have to go to like eBay to find images of these things, which is it's like eBay and Amazon. Ooh, that's a cool team shot. You know what I will say? Okay, like I feel like I'm gonna keep going on tangents, but like man, the sort of like comic book art of like the late 90s 2000s is some of my favorite art. Like they were so over the top with some of these layouts that I'm just like, damn, dude.
So, I mean, that's definitely a podcast for another day, but it's also because of like that was a formative time for you, but also was a formative time for comics. And so like they were just as edgelordy, fierce angel. That's a nod for like one person.
Yeah.
But like the idea of like Evangeline comics where it's like, oh, she was this fallen angel who kind of fell in love with a half demon guy. It's like, what is this? But then of course now it's a K-pop Demon Hunters. So I mean, there's
It all
it's
comes back.
things are
Yeah.
things are circular. So who knows what'll be back next? And yeah,
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate you walking me through Superman and going on all the 1,000 tangents. I
I
appreciate
mean
you.
that's yeah. That's what we're built for. I
Yeah.
hope people check us out next time and yeah, give us a follow so you can find out when we're going to be rambling about whatever comes up next.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Thanks, team. See you guys next
Good
time.
night, everybody.
Night.